Have you ever had the time when you've experienced some type of emotion and then you felt guilty for feeling that way? I'm gonna give you a story, right? I'm gonna tell you a few stories in this video. But the other day I was watching a movie called Okja, right? If you haven't seen that movie, watch it. It is a crazy movie, so many life lessons in there. But for those, if you don't cry during that movie, then you aren't human, in my perspective. But I was watching that movie, and then there was a period at the end where I just started crying uncontrollably. It was such a sad moment at the end. And I remember before I was starting to tear up. You know when you watch a movie and you can like start to feel these emotions come up, and sometimes in the past, I would start to like go, okay, don't cry, don't cry. If there's people around especially, don't cry, don't cry. And I like would try to hold it in, and then I get like this weird feeling in my throat. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And I started to feel myself doing that. And I was like, why aren't I letting these tears out? Like, why do I feel this feeling in my throat right now? And it was because I was feeling guilty in a very subtle way for feeling tears, for letting tears come out. And most of us, especially men, have been taught, men don't cry. If you cry, you're a girl. All of these seeds that have been implanted into my mind and a lot of people's minds about what is good or bad when a certain emotion comes up in your body. You shouldn't feel sad. I remember getting told, are you gay? Like for crying, right? And all of these words that are said gets implanted into your subconscious, and then they start to go out, and then they start to come up when you experience any emotions throughout your life. How many of us feel a certain type of emotion, feel bad for feeling that emotion, and then stuff it down? What I believe is that most of us need an emotional enema. For those of you who don't know what an enema is, Google it and you'll be able to see what it is. But most of us need an emotional enema to just let those emotions out. Because we have been taught that emotions are bad. Feel guilty. People don't actually say this, but we create this. We start to feel guilty for emotions that are coming up. Right? I saw this on this group yesterday. Someone posted a meme where it was like something along the lines of getting feelings for another person and then blocking yourself off, cutting yourself off from that person because you don't want to catch feelings for that person. Like, that's funny, I get it, but if you really look into that, you're experiencing an emotion towards another person and you're feeling guilty for feeling that emotion because in the past, you got taught, or you created the illusion in your mind that it is bad for feeling feelings towards another person. And usually how that happens is I found that a moral judgment is created through three ways. Through what you see, through what you hear, or through what you experience. Maybe you went through a breakup, right? And then you started to create the illusion that it is painful for feeling love or feeling attraction towards another person, so then you cut off. You create this mind-body split. I shouldn't feel these feelings towards another person, so anytime that this emotion comes up, I'm gonna create the trigger that when I feel that, to say that's bad, and then cut it off. But when you cut those emotions off, you're also cutting off the opportunity to attract somebody in. I'm gonna say that again because that was actually pretty good. When you cut off your emotions, you're cutting off the opportunity to attract another person in. It's okay to feel attracted. It's okay to feel love towards another person. People need an emotional enema and vulnerability. I remember feeling, I'm telling stories left, right, and center here, but I just remembered that as a kid, right? Later in life, I would try to show my intent that I was attracted to another person, but I'd always try to show my intent without showing my intent. I don't know if that makes sense. But like me trying to sneakily and make it secret that I'm interested in another person, but I didn't want them to know that I'm interested, but I did want them to know that I'm interested. And it all happens through an experience, right? A moral judgment from it's bad if you're attracted towards another person. And as a kid, right? A lot of us go through this. You know, you have a crush on a girl, or if you have a crush on the opposite sex or the same sex. And then, kids start singing. Matt and blah blah sitting in a tree, K-I-S-S-I, and then they start to create all these songs and they sing, and then they start to make you feel bad for feeling attracted, for having a crush on the opposite sex. This mind-body split is created in that moment, and now you feel bad for feeling interested in another person. So then I was trying to show my intent without showing my intent. Like this shit, there's so many ways that we have become disconnected from honoring the feelings that are in our body, and the very second that you remove guilt from the equation, you feel free. So that's the best thing I could tell you to do. Create an emotional enema, feel the feelings in your body. When you start to feel an emotion and then you start to become aware of, oh wow, I'm blocking this emotion off. Become aware of what those thoughts are that are blocking you from those feelings from coming up. So that's what I'd recommend. Hope this video helps you out. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. If you know somebody that needs to hear this, share them with them, or just share it on your page if you're on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe if you haven't already. And until I see you guys in the very next video, remember to love all living things, and most importantly, love thyself.